In the beginning, a man is shown holding and analyzing a rough and unprocessed diamond. He then polishes it and makes it into a ring. The ring is then seen on the finger of a woman. We see a lady named Casey J. walking on the streets. She is a reporter. She enters a restaurant where another woman is waiting. She asks the waiter who guides her to Miss Laura Quinn. She is there to interview her after she contacted her channel for an interview. Casey goes near her and introduces herself. She listens to a call and takes a seat in front of her. She says that she was hired by London Diamond Corporation, which is the #1 in the world, and even in the 1950s when the world was totally male dominated. She asks how did she become a manager, and does she have to fight for that? Quinn actually was the only woman that ever had been a manager at the London Diamond Corporation. Cassie continues to talk when Quinn stays silent all the time. Cassie says she would like to hear her story and set the recorder down. Quinn tells her that she hasn't set foot in the city as a free woman for more than 40 years. Quinn then takes out a box from her pocket and opens it to reveal a huge diamond. She compliments the diamond as she places it on the table. Cassie cues her asking permission to pick it up, which she gets. As she picks up the diamond, Quinn leans in and gently says, "I stole it from London Diamond." Cassie admires the diamond and Quinn stops the recording, and Casey quickly deduces that Quinn has been in prison for the theft all this time. The scene shifts to London in 1960, and we see a young Quinn walking on the street, and she walks to the London Diamond Corporation's building, which at the time was the #1 diamond company in the world. She greets the janitor, Mr. Hobbs, and signs her attendance. She is the only woman on the premises. In London Diamond Corporation, the diamonds are kept in a large vault, and only one person by the name of Eaton is the one with access and code to it. He, accompanied by two men, heads to the vault and opens it and enters the vault. The two men are carrying a cart, and he places many unprocessed diamonds from the vault in it and then distributes them among workers to polish and convert them into a marketable and sales-worthy product. All the while a protest is going on outside the building. The owner of the company, Milton Kendrick Ashtoncroft, and Peter Boland drives by and are escorted inside by some workers. Quinn is still employed as a manager at London Diamond Corporation. She attends a board meeting regarding a recent incident at their excavation field. Boland tells the Russians are pushing for economic sanctions and they are unable to renew their deal with them. He shrugs that they don't need Russians, but Quinn points out that if they lost their deal with the Russians, it can be harmful to them, as Russia can make a deal with their competitors, and this way they can also lose their global control of the market. In 2 days, officials from Soviet Diamond Trading Organization are arriving, and Milton says that they have 2 days to come up with a solution. At the end of the meeting, he announced that Peter Boland has been made the new managing director. This is the 6th time that Quinn is passed over for a promotion despite being intellectually superior to her male co-workers. This makes Quinn sad. A coworker talks to her about this, but she keeps her calm and says that Boland is her senior and more experienced than her. When the coworker leaves, Quinn picks up an envelope and takes out a paper, on which is written the name of Londi subsidiaries and the fact that the number of lady managing directors is 0. She tears the page and then takes out another. She writes positive things like "don't give up" and "work hard on it" to motivate herself. She put the paper in the envelope and leave it at her desk. Later, Quinn is in her office and working late. When Mr. Hobbs comes in her office, he comments on how she is always first to arrive and last to leave. They have a bit of chit-chat as Mr. Hobbs cleans her office and then leaves. In a meeting with Milton regarding the Russians, she suggests that they extend their contract with them. While heading out, she runs into an old acquaintance, Harold Reynolds. He tells her he is working for Allied Bank and is there along with his team to check their accounts. He gives Quinn his card and suggests that she should come work for Allied Bank if she is interested in a career change. The next day, Quinn arrives at her office and picks up the envelope. A movie ticket falls out of it, and there is time written behind the ticket. Quinn wonders who has given her this ticket. She heads to the designated place at the given time and finds Mr. Hobbs there, who suggests that they sit there. She thinks he has invited her on a date, but he corrects her that such is not the case, that he is a happily married man and that he has something to talk to her about. They sit together and he tells her how he read her notes ad can tell how frustrated she is. She says she can get him fired, and he quotes her being passed over by someone less qualified 6 times. Mr. Hobbs tells her that she is due to be fired specifically because of her ingenious Russian proposal. Quinn starts to get angry, but he says he is trying to help. At the office, after Milton leaves, Quinn manages to get his secretary out of the office and look around. She finds her termination letter. Quinn contacts Harold and meets him over dinner. He apologizes that they can't offer her any position, as Londi is their biggest client and they told the bank that Quinn is grossly incompetent and botched their relationship with Russians. He apologizes, stating she will not get a job in any company doing business with Londi, which does not leave many options for her. Quinn is sad and depressed at this. At home, she lay on her couch. The next scene shows her exiting the company when a large diamond falls off of her. People become suspicious and security grabs her. She was taking diamonds out by attaching them under her nails. She is taken away by security, but this luckily turns out to be a bad dream and she wakes up on her couch. She goes to meet Mr. Hobbs at a betting arena, where people are betting on dog races. She says he was right and asks what he wants to steal. She has done a background inquiry about him. She states his life happening, how his wife died 15 years ago of some illness, and sarcastically comments that he is happily married to her. He compliments her intelligence. She asks why he thinks he can pull off such a thing, and he says that he has a plan. Mr. Hobbs discusses his plan with her, and he states it is viable for them because they do not have to change their usual routine. He explains that each night at 9 p.m. the front doors are locked and for 10 hours no one comes or goes from the building. Only 2 guards stand by the lift on the lower floor. She says he intends to go for the vault and he confirms it. He tells her he starts every night on the 4th floor and starts working his way down and eventually gets on the floor with the safe, where he spends a few hours and he is mostly unattended at that time. He even works close to the vault but has never opened it. Quinn point out he will need a code to open the vault and codes are changed weekly, and only 2 people know of the codes. Mr. Hobbs points out that these 2 people are Eaton and Milton, and obtaining the codes is where her place in the plot is. He tells her that he was supposed to do this all alone, and a year ago he found that Milton saved the codes by writing them on a paper and hiding it under his desk. But some months ago he stopped hiding them there. He kept looking each night, but he never found them there again. She asks what is her role. He shows her a paper stating she is invited to a party Milton is throwing and she has to sneak into his study and steal the codes from the central drawer. Quinn poses the question as to how will he take the diamond out of the building even if he gets the code and access to the safe. He says that he will steal enough diamonds to make them rich, but not to be noticed. He shows her his water bottle stating he can take at least £1 million worth of diamonds in it, which will be enough for them. She later contemplates about Mr. Hobbs's proposal and his idea. She is aware that her co-workers consider her old and have slim to no professional prospects left for her, so she agrees to assist Mr. Hobbs in this plan. She goes to the social event happening at the company president Sir Milton's mansion. In the party, Milton is seen with a man named Clifton Sinclair. Another employee, while talking to Quinn, tells her that Sinclair is the head of the insurance syndicate from King's Row. He is the greatest grantor of Laundie. He is involved in many insurance scandals, but he never got caught or prosecuted, and that's why Laundie continue business with them. Quinn meets with the guests attending the party, including Vladimir Dmitriev, who is the head of the Soviet Diamond Authority. He asks her to dance with him and she does. She goes out and talks to Milton's son. Afterward she makes her way to the study and she looks for safe's combination codes. She hears someone coming and hides. Milton come there, and he opens his safe. Quinn watches this via binoculars. After Milton leaves, Quinn goes near his safe and opens it. From there she retrieves the combination code. She brings the codes to Mr. Hobbs. The next day Quinn comes to the office and finds out that the CCTV cameras are being installed everywhere. Later Quinn met Mr. Hobbs and informs him about the CCTV cameras and that they keep an eye on using them. She is afraid that their plan will not succeed. Mr. Hobbs ponders that there must be some way. Quinn says that in total 8 cameras have been installed and 1 is installed near the safe. All the cameras are linked to the guard station where 24 hours they are monitored. He realizes that she has seen and way and persists that she tells him, and she does tell him. There is a catch in the camera's security system, as there are 8 cameras but in the guard station, only 4 monitors are available, which at a time show footage from only 4 cameras, and the remaining 4 are not shown. The footage alternate among these 2 sets every 60 sec. Mr. Hobbs says that he needs just 10 seconds to reach the vault, but Quinn is skeptical as he would have to run and cover a distance of 40 yards. Given his age, this action is not looking viable, but Mr. Hobbs insists that he can do it. Quinn does not want to help him with this and gets up to leave, but Mr. Hobbs stops her and says that she can't back up like that now. She brought the code for him and is equally involved in this and she wants to do it. Quinn and Mr. Hobbs are determined to exploit the weakness in the new camera system, but Quinn says that they must do it tomorrow before the flaw is detected and corrected. The next day when all the employees leave, Mr. Hobbs goes by his daily routine and cleans the building. He makes his way to the security center and takes the chance to synchronize his stopwatch with the time of the footage change. Mr. Hobbs drives his cleaning trolley and heads toward the vault while looking at the watch to note the time of footage change. He hurries and sprints toward the vault and uses the code provided by Quinn to try and open the vault. To distract the guard present on duty in the guard station, Quinn calls from outside. While the guard attends the call, Mr. Hobbs is successful in opening and entering the vault, and closing it from inside. He turns his head back and is dazzled to see the sight. There are many boxes in the vault, all filled with diamonds. Guard tries to talk on the call but gets no answer. Quinn put the phone back in the phone booth and leaves. Noting the time of video footage shifting at the watch, Mr. Hobbs leaves the vault with the trolley and starts moving away. The guard is busy eating and pays no attention to the footage. Mr. Hobbs exits the building holding his water bottle. As Quinn hides and watches him, a man comes and takes Mr. Hobbs away and asks him to clean a clogged toilet. The next day Quinn enters the company and Mr. Hobbs leaves with his bottle. He comes home and it is revealed that there are no diamonds in the bottle. Eaton opened the vault and unrest started to spread among the employees. Eaton and Laura go to the vault and she is surprised to see that it is empty and she is surprised by this. Mr. Hobbs has gone against the plan and somehow managed to lift every almost 2 tons of diamond from the vault. He holds them for a ransom by way of a proxy and demands demands £100 million. The head of the insurance syndicate from King's Row, Sinclair, is forced to pay the ransom, which leave him financially destroyed. Quinn, having never agreed to this grand theft and now finds herself trapped. A private investigator named Mr. Finch is hired by the company to investigate and keep the matter from going public. Finch keeps a close eye on Mr. Hobbs and Quinn. Quinn wants to avoid jail by giving the stolen diamonds back, but Mr. Hobbs refuses to negotiate and has some other plans. Having no knowledge of where the diamonds are, she is forced to conceal their scheme while assisting Finch. When the diamonds are not returned, the situation escalates and the incident is leaked to the press. Milton has a heart attack because of the stress. While out for a drink with Finch, Quinn feels cornered. She runs to the bathroom and cries uncontrollably. She gets an idea as to how the heist could have been pulled and where the diamonds could be after losing her diamond earring down the drain. She goes down into the sewers under the company and finds Mr. Hobbs there, and he is guarding a passage. She finds a huge pile of diamonds at her feet. Mr. Hobbs pulls a gun on her and confesses that he did it for revenge against Sinclair and wanted to ruin the head of the insurance syndicate, which is responsible for his wife's death many years before, because he deliberately delayed her medical insurance payment. The deadline for the ransom has passed, and Sinclair commits suicide. Mr. Hobbs, having reached his goal, leaves. Quinn calls Finch after finding the rest of the diamonds and claims she followed a hunch. There is a lot of proof of her involvement in the incident. Finch, who has been involved with her emotionally, is unwilling to press charges against Quinn. He tells Quinn while touching her lips, who is very worried that the evidence against her is inconclusive, and leaves her peaceful. The company recovers the stolen property and lies to the press that the theft was just a rumor. The scene shifts to the present. Quinn tells Cassie that she resigned and received a letter from a bank in Switzerland. Mr. Hobbs apologized for involving her and gave her the ransom money as compensation. Quinn details how she spent the rest of her life donating all the unspent money. If you like this video, then please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Take care.